Hey Stampers, welcome to Brandy's Cards. So today I've got another fun card for you using the Hey There Bud stamp set. I like this stamp set, I think it's really cool. It's on page 125 of your Stampin' Up! Catalog. So take a look here, it's awesome. It's this big flower. You'll notice there's lots of flowers on here with the stem. So I'm going to show you, if you look at the sample that Stampin' Up! Has here on page 125, I love it. And I love the fact that they used the corals and they used it a little bit lighter and a little bit darker. Thought it looked awesome. So I decided to kind of go with that same theme. I also liked the big circles that were embossed in the background. But I thought, well, what if maybe some of you at home don't have the big, large polka dot embossing folder. So what I decided to do was make my own polka dots, switch up the colors a little bit, and go from there. So what we're going to do, this is the card that we're going to make today. Yeah, this is the Hey There Bud stamp set. You can see I've added some sparkles. It's nice and pretty, and you can see the polka dots along the back, which add a lot of, spice to the card as well. So I thought it was really, really pretty. So that's the card that we're going to make today. You'll notice that I do have the Hello Honey, the new, let's see, what is this? This is actually called I know it's the Hello Honey, but it is the Stitch Satin ribbon. I didn't want to call it the wrong type of ribbon. So it's Stitch Satin. The reason that I chose that ribbon is because it's got this really cool texture. So when you put it down on the card, you can kind of feel the little grooves. I thought it was really cool. Just adds a little something more. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about this card just a little bit more before we get started. The background, I used the decorative masks right here on page 205 of the annual catalog. Speaking of catalog, if you don't already have a catalog, let me know. I'd be more than happy to send you one. Keep in mind, if you have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, please ask your demonstrator. Otherwise, I'd love for you to reach out to me. There will be a form at the bottom of this post where you can let me know that you need a catalog, and we've also got the holiday catalog out too, so it's awesome. So let me know, I'll send those to you. I really appreciate the opportunity to earn your business, so thank you for that. So again, the decorative masks, you'll see that on page 205. So we've got these fun stars and the hearts, and they're very affordable, really neat. There's a lot of different things that you can do with them. You've got the stripes and you've got the polka dots, and the cool thing is you can spritz them, you can trace them, emboss them. Let's see, what else can you do? You can sponge them as well. So sponge them, trace them, emboss them, spritz them. There's just lots of different things. And so these things are really, really cool. Now today's card, you'll see here that I have the polka dots. Now you can layer, I'll show you here, you can layer these polka dots on top of your cardstock, and that's going to give you that perfect symmetry. So if you guys like it, perfectly in line and that sort of thing, then you're going to want to use the decorative mask. Okay, now how do you hold it down? Well, I would probably take some painter's tape or something like that to go ahead and tape this down before you sponge on top of it. But I'm going to go ahead and put that aside, and I'm going to use my little sponge dauber-do. I like this guy. And did you guys know that you can wash these things? That's right, I did not know that. And one of my girlfriends says, you know what, I just wash them. And I'm like, what? That's true, you can just wash them. And they come clean, and then you can use them again. So make sure you do that. All right, so what we're gonna do is I am gonna just freehand my little circles. I have some Craft Whisper White ink in here. It is by Stampin' Up! As well. And let me show you, it's actually on page 211. Nope, I take that back. It's on page 210 of your Stampin' Up! Catalog. It's right here. And it is a rich pigment, permanent pigment type ink. Now as we go ahead and we make our polka dots, it's actually going to stay wet. So I do recommend that you grab a heat tool and maybe heat it. You certainly can sprinkle a clear embossing powder on it and you can emboss it. If you want the white to be more prominent, you can sprinkle on top of it maybe white embossing powder. But I really kind of liked the subtle circles, and so I'm just going to go straight with my sponge dauber. So I'm just going to go and push straight down and straight up. See that there? That's right. And I'm just sort of randomly putting my circles all around my card. That's right. I'm not doing it in any particular order. And again, personally, I like the random circles, and I didn't really want it perfectly symmetrical. But again, if you like that better, then that's totally fine. So I'm just sort of here and there putting my little polka dots. And you know what? If you mess up, well then that can be the back of your card. So there are no mess ups in crafting, we just improvise, right? So there you go, so there's my dots. You can see that they are a little wet. If you don't like, you might be able to see here, I maybe pushed a little hard, so I've got a little bit of a crescent right there. That does not bother me at all. I just think it makes it a little bit more fun and gives it a little bit of added texture to it. Entirely up to you, just kind of play with it, see how it goes. I'm going to set that aside, and again, you can take a heat tool and you can dry these circles. You know, I'm not really going to send it right now, so I'm just going to leave mine as is and set it aside. We'll go ahead and we'll work on the rest of our card. We'll stick it on top, and I think I'll be good to go. So now what we're going to do is we have the Hey There Bud stamp set. Really cute flower, right? I like it. It comes in wood only. And again, you know, we could take it and stamp it in yellow ink or the coral ink, straight down, straight up, and then it's going to be all one color. So how do we accomplish the different colors? Well, we have Stampin' Up! Bright markers. These guys are rock solid. Awesome. So I've got here, let's see, I have a little bit of crushed curry, tangerine tango, and always artichoke, and melon mambo. Those are the 4 colors that I have today. And I'm going to go ahead and start coloring on my stamp. And I will talk you through it the entire way. Now, as you can see, my stamp, I'm going to start with melon mambo. And so I'm going to color the big flower first. And as you can see, the stamp that I'm coloring, it actually is dirty, right? And you can see that I have colored on this stamp before. And so some of you are wondering, now, why didn't you clean this stamp? Well, you know, it's funny because I find that the first time you color it, the first couple times, you know, it just doesn't stamp as pretty until, you know, it gets moist and it kind of gets wet on there. So to get the most, you know, the most vibrant stamp, I just went ahead and left the ink, the deposit of the ink that was already on there, I left it still on the stamp. So that's why I'm using a little bit of tangerine tango now, and I'm coloring the little buds. I just thought that was so pretty. So I'm coloring the buds. Hey there, bud. The other thing I'm going to do with my orange is I'm going to color the center of this pretty flower right here, because I just thought that that worked well. Thought it was really pretty. Now I've got crushed curry, and I'm going to color my yellow flower, this little one here down in the corner. It's really pretty. And now we're going to color the flower with the tangerine tango center. So as I kind of work my way around, one thing I like about coloring on this stamp set is that, you know, it's big enough that you can add these other colors without really blending, you know, without getting, you know, green on your orange and yellow on the orange and that sort of thing. So it works really well. So I'm just moving through my stem, and that's about it. We're just about done. Just about done. And kind of working my way up. And I love these little buds. Just really, really cute. Just really cute. Now, before I color on my sentiment, you could use maybe a chocolate chip or a brown and color on your sentiment. But I really didn't mind it being green. So I'm just going to go ahead and use my Always Artichoke and just color in my hey there. Okay? So now we got to do the huff. That's right. Huff on it really good. Make sure it's nice and moist. We're going to press it straight down and straight up. Ooh, I love it. What do you guys think? Yeah, that's really, really pretty. I like it a lot. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I'm just going to set my stamp set aside. Oh, you know, before I do that, I want to get a little bit of depth on this card. I want a little bit of lift. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go ahead and use my crushed curry one more time, and I am going to color this yellow flower. Now, you don't have to do this. This is just, you know, this is just something I like to do. I like to add a little lift, or, you know, just spice up the card a little bit more. So I'm going to color this. This is Tangerine Tango, back in the center of the flower. I'm going to stamp it right here on my scrap paper, straight up, straight down. There you go. That's it. Now we're going to take my scissors and I am gonna fussy cut this little flower out. Now again, you don't have to cut it out if you don't want to, but I think you'll find that it just kind of adds that little bit of lift and a little bit of interest to your card, and I think you might like that. So I'm just gonna cut this out really quickly, and then we're gonna use a Stampin' Dimensional, which are our pop dots. We're gonna put one right here on our original image, and then we're gonna match up our flower and set it right there on top. You can even go in and sort of bend your petals, because the nice thing is you can see that you have the yellow flower underneath, so when you bend the petals, it kind of gives it that three-dimensional look. It's really pretty cool. Now I've got So Saffron. That's right, so this is actually So Saffron cardstock, but we're gonna use Hello Honey ribbon, and we've got Crushed Curry yellow. And you're like, wow, that's a lot of different yellows working. Well, you know, I kind of was looking at the card that Stampin' Up! Did that was so creative and so beautiful inside of the catalog, and that's sort of how I started to think, well, if they can use different colors of coral, why can't I use different colors or shades of yellow? So you just never know until you start playing with stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and line up my white piece here, and I'm going to use my finger, and I'm just going to sort of tear along the edge. I wanted the bottom sort of torn and sort of, as my girlfriend Leah would say, shabby chic. Just kind of wanted it to kind of look sort of fun. So we're going to go ahead and glue that down with some Tombow. Let's get this glued down. And then once we get that glued down, oh, we gotta fix it here. There we go. Once we get it glued down, what we're gonna do is we are gonna add our ribbon. Now there's a couple different things you can use to add your ribbon. You could use mini glue dots, okay? Or you could use your sticky strip. And you know, I'm just gonna go ahead and use sticky strip because it's actually pretty darn easy. So what you'll see here is I've actually gone further than my card, and you guys are probably like, now why did you go that much further? Well, the reason that I did that is because I actually want to wrap it around the back, because I am not gonna, a lot of times when I use ribbon, I like to tie a knot or like to tie a bow, but this time I'm gonna just wrap the ribbon all the way around the back, and the sticky strip here in the back is what's gonna hold the ribbon down, okay? So again, if you take a look at your ribbon, there's the smooth side and then there's the side with kind of the grooves. I want that side facing up because I just thought that that was like way cool, and it really added a lot of spunk. So I'm going to wrap my ribbon around the back, and see that sticky strip back there is holding it perfectly. Let's pull in some Stampin' Dimensionals. And we're gonna put one on each corner, and I like to even put it half on my ribbon because, you know, it's just another way to hold your ribbon down. You certainly don't have to do that, but I like to do that. And I always like to put one in the middle. So we're gonna pull it up here, pull in our circles. Now remember, your circles are most likely still wet. So pull out your heat tool, dry them off, emboss them, whatever you would like to do. I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna be careful, and I'm gonna stick my little flower down right here on the top, pushing it straight down. There you go, we're well on our way. Pretty cute, right? I loved it. I loved it. I just thought it was so much fun, and just, I don't know, I like those polka dots. So what we're gonna do now is, I don't know if you guys have played with our candy dots, but they're really cool. They're really fun. And so my first one, I did a yellow candy dot in the center. Second one, I decided to go Tangerine Tango. So I'm gonna go back for a bright candy dot, put it in the center of my flower. And now remember, these have mini glue dots underneath them. So you wanna kinda get your scissors or your fingernail underneath them to pull it up and stick it right on your card, and it works perfectly. Now I've got a two-way glue pen here, and I thought, well, now how can I add some sparkle to this card? Now you don't have to, of course, but if you would like to, I just took a two-way glue pen, and I thought it would be kind of neat to just trace inside of the white areas. You know, there's a lot of white area in these flowers, and I thought, you know, what if I just go ahead and add a little bit of two-way glue and then sprinkled some of my glitter on it. And I loved the way that it turned out. And after I did that, well, something else happened, and I'll show you when I get there. And I liked that even better. So let me just color this in. I've got my little buds down here. Perfect. And I have some Dazzling Diamonds glitter. And now, you know, honestly, it probably would have been better to maybe do this before I stuck it to the card. But what I found, and as you can see, I'm sprinkling it. Not only am I sprinkling it on the card itself, but I'm sort of sprinkling it around, and I'll show you why. So we're gonna tap it off here in the bin. Now by sprinkling it all over the card, it actually sticks to the wet circles. Now isn't that cool, right? So I just thought that was so much fun and just so pretty and sparkly and well, I don't know. I think I would love to get a card like this. It would definitely make my day. So I hope you guys have enjoyed today's project. I hope that you give it a try. And as I've said time and time again, that I'm using the Hey There Bud stamp set, but there are so many stamp sets in the Stampin' Up! Catalog, and I bet you have a fantastic stash of your own. So pull out a flower, add some little polka dots, use some different colored ink. You don't have to use the Whisper White. Use a navy on top of this, and maybe use a Sea Life stamp set. There's so many fun things that you can do, and I hope that you experiment and you have some fun, and I hope that you share your projects with me. Email me, show me what you've been up to and what you're doing. And don't forget, I have Instagram on my website. It's in the bottom right hand corner, so if you hashtag Brandy's Cards, it's going to show up on the front of Brandy's Cards for all to see and to be inspired by. So thank you so much for stopping by, and I hope that you have a blessed day.